Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Namo Nityananda Bhakti Mora Dhanamera Nityananda Bhakti Mora Gaura Chandra Prana Mora Yugala Kishora Prana Mora Yugala Kishora Advaita Acharya Bala Gadadhara Mora Kula Advaita Acharya Bala Gadadhara Mora Kula Narahari Vilasai Moon Vaisnavera Padaduli Tahe Mora Snana Keli Vaisnavera Padaduli Tahe Mora Snana Keli Tarpana Mora Vaisnavera Nama Vichara Koriya Mane Bhakti Rasa Aswadane Vichara Koriya Mane Bhakti Rasa Aswadane Madhyastha Sri Bhagavata Purana Vaisnavera Vulchista Sahe Mora Munanista Vaisnavera Vulchista Sahe Mora Munanista Vaisnavera Nanite Ullasa Vrindavane Kabutara Tahe Mora Mona Khera Vrindavane Kabutara Tahe Mora Mora Khera Kohe Dina Narottama Dasa Kohe Dina Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Krishna Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhattarunda Jaya Jaya Krishna Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhattarunda Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya 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 Nityananda Jaya Jai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Gaur Hari Bol Hare Krishna.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobisham Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Ratam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padar Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नस्तप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैसिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजाग्रहे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गुरुतिसे नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनसारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम अपवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सा भाग्य अभयन्तरं शुचि श्रीविष्णु Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining today's session, this morning session. So I thank Sri Gopal Prabhu, Praveen Prabhu, Lilananda Prabhu, and everyone who has given me an opportunity to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam. Though I am not qualified, I do not have any qualification, but it is only the association of the devotees who are engaged in the services. That is the only qualification which is allowing me to sit before you. If in this attempt, if I make any mistake, please forgive me as as you forgive your maid servant. Something good you have taken, good which is coming out is only due to the parampara. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So let me share my screen before. Today we are seeing the fourth chapter of the second canto entitled The Process of Creation. So before that, we'll have a small recap of what we have seen so far. So in the first chapter, what we have seen is the process. It is the process. So it's the first step in the God realization. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, we see about the Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So we see so many meditation techniques, all those things. After that, the Lord is entering into the heart. So we keep the Lord in the heart. What happens when we keep the Lord in the heart? It's pure devotional service starts. The change of the heart happens. So we can see over here. As yesterday, Santosh Prabhuji has wonderfully explained all these slokas. So, what is the quality of becoming a devotee? What is it? Non-devotee. What is the criteria of a non-devotee? Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. These those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord Krishna. So, one who is not a devotee always discusses about the mundane topics like politics, films, etc. Film, etc. But a devotee is not like that. So, what is a devotee? So, it bodhayante paraswaram. Devotee means they continuously talk among themselves about the transcendental qualities and pastimes of Sri Krishna. This is the first and foremost criteria of a devotee. So, all the sages who have assembled over there saying one who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is considered to possess like ear holes. So these ears are meant for listening to the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. Otherwise, these are like the holes of a snake. And the tongue is nothing but a frog. So what does a frog do? It croaks. So what happens when it croaks? The a serpent comes to the frog and catches it. Similarly, our tongue is like a frog's tongue. If you speak something rubbish, the snake of time comes and devours us. The upper portion of the body, though crowned like a turban, is heavy burden. If it not bow down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti. And the hands, though decorated with glittering triangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in the service of the Hari. Eyes which do not look like at the symbolic representations of the personality Godhead, Vishnu, are like those printed on the plumes of a peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places are considered to be tree barks. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the lotus Lord's pure devotee upon the head is certainly a dead body, and the person who has never experienced the aroma of tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Certainly, that heart is a steel frame. In spite of once chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. So we are presently our hearts are steel framed. Though we are chanting, but we don't feel that ecstasy. But one day, when we progress in the bhakti, the ecstatic feelings automatically come. O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us. It was spoken by the great devotee Sukadev Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Maharaj. So here, all the Saunakadi rishis, so they are all devotees. So anything connected to Krishna, whether it be a pastime of a devotee, whether it is creation, whatever it may be, if it is related to Krishna, they are very eager to hear. So actually, the entire almost Bhagavatam is completed in this chapter itself. They could have left the place and they could have dispersed to their respective places, but they are not satisfied. They wanted to hear more and more and more. So in this connection, they are asking the Sutta Maharshi, what else? Sukadeva Goswami has spoken to Parikshit. The entire our literatures is based on question and answers, inquisitiveness, inquisitive questioning. If there is inquisitiveness, then only the speaker can speak more. Otherwise, it is finished. So these rishis, they were very much inquisitive to more. So that's why Suta Goswami is much more pleased, and he speaks about the process of creation. So today we'll see this fourth chapter of process of creation, how this creation has happened. Sutam vacha vayasakir iti vachas tattva nischayam atmanah upadharyamatim krishne autare satim vyada. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully on the Lord Krishna. So here, the word is sati is very much important. Sati. What does sati means? Chaste. So earlier in olden days, we used to have the sati concept. People, when we speak about, when we say sati means, they think that a woman is burnt alive when a husband passes away. So this was a concept which is a misunderstanding which we have right now. But sati means chaste. In olden days, women were chaste to their husband. So they would follow the path of the husband. So wherever the husband goes, or whatever the husband says, the wife used to assist him. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So that is the duty of a chaste woman. So when the husband passes away, so husband is a first class devotee. So he shows the path of the Godhead to his wife. So when husband passes away, he also goes in the same path shown by her husband. That is a chastity. So here, the chastity, we should have the same chastity towards Lord Sri Krishna. So that is an important quality of a devotee. Not that today on Monday I go to Vishnu temple, Tuesday I go to other temple, Wednesday I go to other temple. So this is not a weekly affair. So we are all devoted to Sri Krishna or Vishnu. Ekah Kurunandana. That is the qualification of a devotee. So the whole Vedic adventure, let me highlight. The whole Vedic adventure is to draw one attention entirely under the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna, without any diversion, as instructed in the Bhagavad Gita 15. So what does 15.15 say? Vedesa sarver ahame vivedo vedanta vedavid eva chaham. So by means of all the Vedic knowledge, name it Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, whatever may be. So you have to know only about Sri Krishna. He is the only compiler and he is the knower of the entire Vedas. So people say, I know Vedas, I read only 4 Vedas. But if they are not devoted to Krishna, the ultimate goal of the Vedas is all lost. So one who knows about Krishna and his pastimes is as good as knowing the entire Vedic literature. So at this Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is the only sufficient. 2 books are sufficient. Srila Prabhupada says these 2 books are sufficient. No need to go for any other scriptures, other Vedas, because entire attention draws to the lotus feet of the Lord Sri. Our destination is the lotus feet, to become a dust under the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. So here Prabhupada says, fortunately, Maharaj has the chastity, because he has seen Krishna right inside the womb of his mother Uttara. From there onwards, he was consistently, continuously searching after. That's why his name is Parikshit. Everywhere he is searching for Krishna. Krishna only. That's why he is chaste. And not only that, after hearing the words of the Sukadeva Goswami, that one should worship the Lord only and no one else. One should only worship Supreme Personality of Godhead only. Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also says, the men of the lower intelligence worship only the demigods. Why? So, because why do we go to the demigods? We go to demigods to get the material benefits. Just like yesterday, the Dasraj Prabhuji has shown the entire list, not a list, 32 list. So if you want this, go to Shiva. If you want this, go to Mother Parvati. If you want this, go to Mother Lakshmi. You have seen. So when we have any material desire, we go to Lord, other devotee, other demigods. What is wrong in that? Everything around this world is temporary. To asashvatam. All the material desires, all the material things which we are acquiring are all temporary. So when we go to demigods only to get these temporary results, are we intelligent or are we foolish? So Krishna says, one should know the relation between the demigods and the devata, sorry, demigods and the Krishna and worship accordingly. And Krishna also says, surrender only unto me. Leave on all the other dharmas. So surrender only to me. So one should be chaste enough to surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, we are unchaste. We can see in the news. So sometimes a woman has an extramarital affairs with the other person. Though she should be chaste to her husband, she has a relation with the other husband, other person. So what happens with that? What is wrong in that? The unchaste woman kills her children, her husband. It goes to an extent of killing. One who is for protector. Pati means a protector. We see so many. Yadav Pati, Yagnapati. What is this Pati? Pati means the protector. So one who is supposed to be protected is being killed because of unchastity. When a devotee becomes unchaste towards Krishna, we kill Krishna. How can we kill Krishna? We spread bogus philosophies. When we are unchaste, we spread bogus philosophies. So we say this person is God, that person is God, that person is God. We go here and there. So that is why we create so much in the name of religion happening. So much violence. Why? Because the same unchaste. So to become a pure devotee, Krishna says here, to become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, there are two essential criteria. Prabhupada says. There are two criteria. One is to be born in the family of a devotee. One should be born in a family of a devotee. Second, one should have a blessings of the spiritual master. So when we are all here want to become a devotee, of course we do not know. Our family might be a devotee, may not be a devotee, but the most important quality is to have the blessings of a spiritual master. So in order to progress ourselves in spiritual life, most important is to take the shelter of spiritual master. So if we are not confirmed with this particular Maharaj is my guru, we are not convinced that I need a guru, this is my guru, we cannot progress in our spiritual. So we cannot progress in our spiritual path. The most important thing is accepting a spiritual master. So that's so it was in the previous paragraph also he says. So one who has full of desires or desireless, his natural affection for Krishna was strengthened. So kama sarva kamava moksha kamava Udharati Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. We have seen in the previous verse. Whatever desires we are not pure devotee now. We have so many desires. Though we have desires, we have to go to our spiritual master or to the Krishna. Then what happens? Our desires become purified. Once our desires get purified, we can go back to Krishna simply. So, though we have desires, we have to approach Sri Krishna only. That is chastity and accepting a spiritual master. By the grace, Parikshit Maharaj has both. He has both the qualification. He is born in a family of devotees. What a great lineage he has. Krishna is relative. Yudhishthir Maharaj, Bhima, all these things, all this person, Abhimanyu, all of them are devotees. He was born in the family of a devotee. Not only that, he has a benediction from spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami. So though he was cursed to die in the 7 days, because of the grace of the Lord Sri Krishna, that the bad thing, which is appeared to be bad thing, has become a boon for Parikshit. So we all can have that in our tough situations. So many of us will go to the tough phases. In this phase, one should take the shelter of spiritual master and Sri Krishna. So in the end, and by hearing from the bona fide spiritual master, he was perfectly able to concentrate his chaste mind further upon Lord Krishna as a matter of course. So we sing the kirtan. Vajahure mana Srinanga Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Vajahure mana Sri Nandana. So we are asking the mind to always chant the holy names of the Lord Sri Krishna. How does it come? How does that? How does a mind engage in the chanting of the holy names? When we engage our mind in the hearing of the holy names from the bona fide spiritual master. So presently we are looking from this devata, that devata, we are confused in a confused state. When we approach a bona fide spiritual master, Tadviri Pranipadena Pariprasthena Seveya Upadekshantriyanam Canada Sapudarshanam. The spiritual master, self-realized soul, gives us the knowledge and helps us in concentrating our mind in the service of Krishna. How does he do that? In the morning prayer, we sing Samsara Dava Nalali. The entire Guru, what is the Guru doing? He is engaging his engaging his disciples in the service of the Lord, service of Radha and Krishna in various ways. By cooking prasad, by teachings, by engaging in the menial services. So this is the entire purpose of this morning prayer. So by doing that, what happens? Our mind starts concentrating on the Lord Sri Krishna's feet. Then our mind becomes chaste. When the mind is chaste, the entire Bhagavad Gita gets revealed. Bhagavatam gets revealed to all of us. 2.4.2. Maharaj Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasure house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. So, as we all know, that in Bhagavad Gita 1.1, we see how Dhritarashtra was attached to his family, especially his child. Ultimately, he has to lose him. So, Acharyas say that one has to leave up the attachments. So in the path of spirituality, one should start getting detached. So, what is detachment? Detachment means attachment towards Krishna. So, you have to get detached from the material world and attached to lotus feet of Lord Krishna. This should go hand in hand. So, being a devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj has a very good chance of leaving all these things. So, what does Prabhupada explain over here? He explains that to become liberated, we all want liberation, moksha. So, what is moksha? So, we all see lamentation, we all have lamentation and hankering. We all hanker for what we don't have, and we lament for what we lose. So, this is the cause of our misery. The freedom from this hankering and lamentation is called liberation. How do we get liberated? We have to get liberated from Dehatma Buddhi. So, Dehatma Buddhi means anything related to the body. Prabhupada calls it as skin disease. Anything related to this body should be left out. So, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita second chapter starts with, you are not this body, you are the soul. Just say, how can I kill this, my friends? How can I kill my beloved grandfathers or my brothers? So you are not this body, you are the soul. Krishna starts with. He doesn't say all the other reasons. So first is the Dehatma Buddhi. What is this Dehatma Buddhi? Is an attachment for personal body coverings. So like everything connected with the body, namely wife, children, and other entanglements. What is the problem? So here we see how the downfall happens when we are attached to this Dehatma Buddhi. So one accepts a wife for the bodily comfort. Generally, people accept it. Here, wife means it can be a husband. For a wife, it is attachment towards husband. For husband, it is attachment to the wife. It goes vice versa. So one selects a wife for bodily comforts. So because of enjoying our material senses, we accept a wife or a spouse. Then the result will be naturally children. What happens when we have the children? We have to protect. Wife and children are dependents. We have to give shelter to them by way of providing a nice house, nice education, nice jewelry, nice sarees, dresses, all those things we all know. So for that, we should have a dwelling place. So we start with a 2-bedroom flat. Then when family increases, we go to the 3-bedroom flat, and to villa, our desires start increasing. So as such, we maintain a animals. Here, Sukadeva Sudamaharshi says, people have animals. So earlier used to have bullock carts, horse carts, but now it is horse carts are converted into horse powers. So animals and animals like cows, dogs, etc. means our own vehicles, either whether it is a 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler, whatever it may be. So we'll have some vehicle. We have to go to office. We have to go out and fill provisions. So we need some vehicle. So we have to have vehicle. This is the entire paraphernalia of the household system. So to maintain this, all these things, one has to increase the bank balance. To maintain all these things, nobody is going to donate to us. We have to earn our livelihood. So we have to increase our bank balance. So naturally, we have to protect our bank balance. We keep in our bank lockers. We'll have that Godrej locks to protect our gold items. So our treasury will be maintained, should be maintained. And in order to display the opulence, the next comes. So we have maintained so many opulences. So we have to show these opulences to all our relatives, all our friends. To show that we have to maintain all these relations. So we have to keep up with good relations with friends and relatives, as well as become very careful about maintaining. Not only developing relations, we have to be very careful in maintaining those relations. So this is entirely the material civilization. So Prabhupada says it is andakopam. If earlier it is Varnashrama system, where in the ashramas we have Grihastha ashrama. So any ashramas, the only thing is to satisfy Krishna, Samsiddhi Haritosha. As a being a Grihastha, if we are not satisfying Krishna, Grihastha ashrama is no longer a Grihastha ashrama. It is a Grihamayati. We all know that Grihamayati. So one householder who follows the Grihamayati lifestyle, he is falling under the deep well. Very deep well. How we do not know how much deep we are going. So we are attached to not only with our immediate family, we are attached to the next family, next generation. We are attached to the third generation. If we are given a chance, we are attached to the fourth generation as well. That's why Krishna pulls us out from this attachment by way of death. Forcefully he pulls out. But what happens? Still we carry that attachment in the next life. So devotion for Lord Sri Krishna means all negation of all the material attachments. How do we negate all the material attachments? By dovetailing them with the Krishna. So whatever we are having, we can attach them to Krishna. All these relations were given by Krishna. No, we have not created our relationship. Krishna has given the relationship. So using this relationship, we can attach all these things towards Krishna. By way of by the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was awarded all material immunities and undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisturbed position. So by the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was given a chance to know that he is going to die in 7 days. Not only that, he is a devotee. So he knew that the purpose of life is to, at the last moment, he has to depart by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. This is what is called devotion. So he was always executing his royal duties on the behalf of Lord Krishna. He is not the proprietor of the world, though he is a king of the kings. Somewhere he is mentioned as king of the kings. But though he is a king, he never considered himself to be the owner. He ruled entire world as a behalf of Lord. So similarly, in our day-to-day life, whatever the activities we are doing, we should do is as a behalf of Lord Sri Krishna. That is detached. We are the caretakers. We are not the proprietors. We are the caretakers. And a responsible king of the world, he was always careful to see the influence of Kali would not enter his kingdom. So in our kingdom, in our household, our kingdom is our house. So we should see that this Kali Yuga doesn't enter our houses. A devotee of Lord never thinks of his household paraphernalia as his own, but surrender everything for the service. This is Sarvadharman Parityaja. Surrender everything to Krishna. The surrender means entirely dedicating the life, entirely delegating the relations towards the service of Lord Sri Krishna. So this is attachment for household paraphernalia and for Lord Krishna go together. If I cannot be attached towards material life or Lord Sri Krishna at one time, it don't go. Bhogaishwarya prasaktana taya pata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi na samadho vidyate. So one who is always after Bhogaishwaryas, enjoyment and increasing of bank balances cannot understand this devotion, path of bhakti, cannot surrender to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. That's why these two things together don't go well. The attachment towards household life is a darkness. Attachment towards Krishna is sunlight. Because all the Vedic Shastra says Krishna Koti Surya Saman. Krishna is like thousands of crores of suns together. So naturally, Krishna is light. So where there is light, there cannot be darkness. Light and darkness cannot exist together. Similarly, Krishna consciousness and attachment towards material life or household life doesn't go well together. If you see the 10 offenses of the holy name, the 10th offense, what is that? Maintaining the material attachments even after knowing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the supreme. Even knowing that this path is the supreme, maintaining the attachments materially is a 10th offense. When we have all these offenses, we cannot chant the holy names properly. When our sadhana becomes weak, our downfall in the spiritual life starts weaker. Naturally, one day we'll go away from the satsangs, we go away from Krishna, and our material life. So our the consciousness, attachment means consciousness. Whatever we attach our consciousness towards maintaining family for my own welfare or maintaining everything as a behalf of the Lord and serving the Lord. So only an expert, devotee can turn everything to the path of the light by an attitude of service to the Lord. So one should be an expert. How can we become an expert devotee? By the attitude of the service. Krishna is not, Prabhupada is not saying the service itself. Of course, service purifies all of us. One should have attitude to serve. Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janana. The attitude is much more important. Having that attitude purifies and transforms a material attachment to spiritual attachment. Here, the best examples are Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthira and households like him can turn everything to the light by donating so-called material assets into the service of the Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to service of the Lord, what we have to do? One who is not trained, Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe, for him, must give up all the material connections before he can be fit to hear. So one who is not a pure, perfect devotee, one who is not having the attitude of the service, he has to get detached. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it says two paths are there, sannyasa and tyaga. 18th chapter says these two things. One can lead a sannyasa life or one can lead a tyaga life. So one has to leave up the entire material attachments and chant the glories of the holy name, Lord. In other words, one who has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam for even one day, this is the criteria to make a judgment whether I am reading Srimad Bhagavatam or not. Other, we can go sloka by sloka, purport by purport, translation by translation. We can hear so many lectures. We can attend so many Mangala. But what is the criteria that say that I have read Bhagavatam or I have heard Bhagavatam? Even for one day, like Maharaj Parikshit, from a fit personality like Sukadeva Goswami, may be able to lose all the affinity for material things. Compare yourself. So every year on year, New Year is coming in just no time. In about 12 to 15 days, we are getting the new year. Every new year, everyone has a resolution. If what we have done in the previous year, what we have to do in the current year. So as a devotees, we have to have introspection. Whether I am reading Srimad Bhagavatam or not. This is the criteria. How much affinity towards material things I have reduced. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekaha kurunanda. Vyavasayatmika. One should have a business-like mentality. His Grace Gaurangadas Prabhuji has said, what is this Vyavasayatmika buddhi? What is this business-like mentality? So businessman will see profit and loss. Year end, he will see what is my profit this year, what is my losses this year, reduce those losses in the coming year. This is what his resolution for the next year. As being a devotee, whether if I invest my time in Krishna consciousness, that is a profit. If I don't invest my time in Krishna consciousness, it is a loss. We all should have this profit and loss statement. And every 24 hours, we see how much we are engaged in Krishna consciousness. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, whether my balance is in the profit side or the loss side. Generally, our credit balance will be losses. We are sometimes in Krishna consciousness, more time in Maya consciousness. So, having heard Bhagavatam means at least one day, like Parikshit Maharaj means, our material affinity comes down. This is the criteria. There is no utility simply by imitating Maharaj Parikshit. One should not imitate. One should follow the footsteps of the Maharaj Parikshit. We cannot artificially renounce everything. This is not mine, that is not mine. The Sahajiyas, all those people, they do artificial imitation. So we should not imitate these great people. What happens if we imitate? We are at the loss. We cannot sustain our bhakti. So we have to follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. And hearing from a Bhagavatam from a professional man, even for 100 years, is no chance of elevation. One should not hear Bhagavatam from a professional reciter. One should hear Bhagavatam from a devotee. Even it's an offense to, it's an amaparat when we use Bhagavatam for maintaining our family. Bhagavatam is not for maintaining our families. Bhagavatam is to decrease our attachments. Translation. O great sages, the great soul of Maharaj Pariksit, constantly wrapped in the thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sort of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are. So what he says is, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all the fruitive activities, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So, this religion, economic development, and sense gratification are generally very attractive for the conditioned souls. It's for pious. Impious people, they don't follow the Vedas. They are following only artha and the kama. All the Vedas says you have to follow dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So we have to gain that. We have desires, kama. What is our goal? Should be moksha. The desire should transform into moksha. By way for the desires to fulfill, we have to have artha. So artha is required. Economic development is required. So all these two things, when we do in a dharmic way, goal is moksha. But for impious people, those who won't follow the Vedas, they don't know the goal is moksha. Ultimately, the dharma is left out. So all they remain is artha and kama. They have their own desires, and for that desire, they generate more and more wealth. But here, Prabhupada is talking about Krishna. Sutta Goswami is talking about more in general about pious people who follow the Vedic rituals. So, entire goal of Veda is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "Oh Arjuna, you have to come above these three modes of material nature." All these Vedas deal with these three modes of material nature. When we are following dharma, artha, kama, moksha, still we are in the three modes. Krishna says, transcend above these three modes. That is bhakti. So Krishna says, leave this dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But renounce all these things. So this dharma, artha, kama, moksha is generally called karma kandiya. Is there in the karma kandiya section. So Maharaj Parikshit also followed this karma kandiya section as to show to his disciples, to this praja, that one has to follow his duties. We as a devotee, we also have to follow these Vedic rituals till we become a pure devotee. We are not a pure devotees. Till that time, we also have to follow this Karmakandi activity. But we have to understand that bhakti, the chanting of the holy names, is the topmost purpose of the goal of life. So, like this, similarly, Maharaj Parikshit, by his association with Sukadeva Goswami, he could easily understand this is not the goal in life, and he surrendered Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Just like the Parikshit Maharaj, when we have the pure association of devotees, we understand these, these concepts very clearly. Sadhu Sangha, Lava Matar, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva. When we have the small association of these sadhus, what happens? Our attachment towards bhakti, our attachment towards devotees, our attachment towards Krishna starts increasing. So naturally, our material attachments come down. So this perfectional stage is attained by Jnani after many births. Bahunanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapajate Vasudevamati Sahamahat Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudhayoga. Bahunanam Janmanam Ante. After many lifetimes, this Jnani comes and surrenders to Lord Krishna. So Jnana is important, and ultimately, with the Jnana, one has to surrender. So this generally takes thousands of times for a fruitative worker. So fruitative worker, Karma Kandi, has to become after thousands of lifetimes, he becomes a Jnani and then surrenders to the Lord. So because Maharaj Parikshit is especially qualified, so he could surrender, he is put in the same level as Mahatma. So we have 12 Mahatmas. So one of them is Maharaj Parikshit. So that's why Lord Chaitanya in his Shishya Aslishya va padaratam pinastuma adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yada tata va vidatalam pato mat prananachastu sa evana para. He's saying, I don't want anything else. Whether you accept my service or not doesn't matter. I am your eternal servant unconditionally. He may render me broken-hearted by not being present before me for a long duration of time, but still he is nothing less than an absolute Lord. Krishna may not be physically present before him, but he is still his master. Similarly, Krishna is not present before us. Still, Krishna should be our eternal servant. Our eternal master. Similarly, so Rupa Goswami says, "O Lord of the poor, do whatever you like, whatever you do. Give me either mercy or punishment. But in this world, I have none to look at except your Lordship." Madhavendra Puri also says, "Oh, my evening prayer, all the Sandhya Vandanas, all the morning rituals, whatever they, I do not mind them. Because now I have decided to free myself from all the reactions of simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Yadu, great enemy of Kamsa, Krishna. Anywhere and everywhere. We should not always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Whether people accuse you, sharp moralists accuse me of being illusioned. There are so many philosophers, Sanskrit scholars who say, this is not right, this Sanskrit is wrong. Whatever you sloka you are saying is wrong. This should be speaking like this. This is the Anuched. Whatever they say. Don't mind. We are eternally the servants of Krishna. People say that you are renounced, you are fit for nothing, like Jadabharata. So Jadabharata, what is people call him Jada because he is unintelligent. People call him unintelligent. Even in that state, we should be devoted to Krishna. Not a but still my mind does not budge an inch from determination. One should not deviate from Lord Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Same Prahlad Maharaj says, Dharma Artha Kama iti yo abhikrivigna. So religious, economic development and sense gratification are celebrated as three means of attaining the path of salvation of these Isha Triya, especially the knowledge. All these are different subjects of Vedic education. And therefore, I consider term to be temporary engagements. All those things, dharma, artha, kama, is also temporary. Moksha is also temporary. On the other hand, surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vishnu is a factual gain. If you know the Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and start surrendering, it is the ultimate truth. The whole matter is concluded in Bhagavad Gita 2. Entire Bhagavad Gita is completed in 2.41. Vyavasayatva ekaha kuranandha. So this is what. Accepting transcendental loving service to the Lord as a prime duty, free from this is a goal of our life.
Water bottle.
The fifth shloka. Maharaj Parikshit said, "O learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without material contamination. Therefore, whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of the ignorance, for you are narrating the topics of the Lord." Here, the practical experience of the Maharaj Parikshit is disclosed. The transcendental topics of Lord Krishna acts like an injection when received from a sincere devotee. So, in medical field, more than this medicine, it is the injection acts faster. So when we hear the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna from a pure devotee, it acts as an injection. Immediately makes us situated in the transcendental platform. So devotional, it says, devotional hearing. Devotional hearing of the messages of the Lord is not like hearing ordinary topics. It's not like ordinary topics. The action will be felt by sincere hearer. So one should be very sincere in hearing. Like Parikshit. The soil should be fertile. In order to the seed to germinate, the soil should be very much fertile. In order the message of the Guru to sit in the heart of disciple, our heart should be fertile. So first we should have sincerity. All these things should be there. Yashadeve Parabhati. So when a hungry man is given a food to eat, he feels sad. So here what happens when we hear Bhagavatam is again described. If we are hungry, if we are given a food, our hunger is satisfied. By seeing the symptom, it is said that you got sufficient food. Similarly, the crucial test for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should get positive enlightenment by such an act. One should progress in bhakti. One should get detached from the material conception of life. 4.6. I beg to know from you how the personality of Godhead by his personal energies creates these phenomenal universes as they are, which are inconceivable even to great demigods. Here, important question is the creation. The question about creation. We all have the question about how this material world is created. We all have learned enough in our school days how this world is created by a big bang. There is a small particle called God particle. By chance, one day it got burst, and the entire creation has failed. This is what scientists are explaining, but that is not the right way. So even Parikshit Maharaj has the same doubt. How this material creation has started. So whatever, here one important point Prabhupada says, for every unknown thing, we have to learn and inquire from a learned personality. So when we have a doubt, we have to go to a learned personality and inquire from him. So that's why spiritual master should be Sarvagya. We all should know what is right and what is wrong, what is what. Our children will ask us, what is this creation? What is this beauty? But if you don't have an answer, how can the child grow in devotion? And we are only creating atheists, nobody else. If we don't know what is happening, we cannot explain to our children. Then naturally, child becomes an atheist. So we should all become a Sarvajna. We should know everything. So the disciple must be made from a qualified spiritual master. And here the practical example is that way. Though he is a Parikshit Maharaj is a devotee, He is setting an example for all of us. Whatever stage we are, whether we are no beginning devotee, medium devotee, or advanced devotee, we should all surrender towards spiritual master. We have to inquire from him. Why? Because Krishna says, Tanmadhi Asya Etaha in first sloka. So everything is coming from Lord Sri Krishna only through the chain of disciplic succession. Everything is coming from Lord Sri Krishna. This is the bona fide path. So we have to, even the process of creation, we should know from the bona fide person. So actually here, Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit wanted to know this creation. The origin of creation was known to him. He knows the creation. Who is the origin? Janmat, etc. So creation also comes from the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. He knows it. But otherwise, he would not have asked, inquired how the person. He is asking how. He is not asking from where. He is asking how the Lord Sri Krishna has created this material world. The common man also knows the creation is made by some creator and is not created automatically. We all know that creation implies a creator. Doesn't Creation doesn't come automatically. See, when we go to super malls, we see some doors opening. When you go, the doors open. So when we take our child, he sees, oh, the doors are opening automatically. He thinks that it is an automatic. There is no creation of that. There is no person involved. As a father, as a parent, we know that there is a creation. So a designer has created this door. There is electronic system. They have set it in auto mode. So when the sensor reads, it automatically opens. So that is the difference between a novice devotee and an advanced devotee. The novice devotee is like a foolish child who thinks that the door is opening automatically. By chance, it is opening. But as a father, as an advanced devotee, we know that there is a human being behind this entire scene. Similarly, the entire creation is not automatic or chance, as the foolish scientists describe. So the devotees describe that there is Krishna is the creation, is behind the creation. We should be very thorough in this. So this is the entire Ishvara, even Brahma gets bewildered. He says, so the highest philosopher, highest scientist is Brahmaji. Brahmaji has described this in Great Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Brahma admits that. So he says, Avajananti Mamoda Manasin Tanashita Param Pavam Avajanto Mam Bhuta Mahikaram. Only fools think that Krishna is the ordinary human being. So we'll go with the next words. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world in sporting. So he knows, Rashid Maharaj knows that different energies. What are the different energies? Internal energy, marginal energy, and external energy. So entire material things we see is the external energy of the Lord Sri Krishna. Three living entities are marginal energies. All the Lakshmis, all the spiritual world we see is the internal energies. So as a marginal energy, we can either attach with the lower energy or we can attach with the internal energy. So this internal energy is the entire cosmic creation. So Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj wanted to know how these three energies are involved in this creation. So this is what is called Achintya Veda Aveda. This is inconceivable potency. So how these energies of the Lord are working is not conceivable by an ordinary person. Oh let Brahmana, The transcendental activities of Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. So here, indirectly, Maharaj Parikshit is asking about who is a bogus people and who is a devotee. What happens when bogus people come? They say that I am the creator, I am God. So many people claim that I am God, but they are confused how this creation happens. Scientists think that we are so intelligent, we are next to gods, we are all gods. We know that how the creation is happening. Ultimately, they are all confused. They say by chance. That's what that is inconceivable. The creation of the creation of just one universe appears inconceivable, wonderful, conceivably wonderful. The creation of this one appears inconceivably wonderful. You see, so many stars, so we have all those galaxy systems. We know we can see in the YouTube. So it's so wonderful, but it is still inconceivable. Our just one small universe is so bewildering. How many such universes are there? Ananta Koti. Thousands and crores and crores. For this Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayaka is Lord Sri Krishna. How can we understand him? So inconceivable. So first we should know, before knowing that Krishna is God, before surrendering to God, one should know that how great that Krishna is, how great God is. That is what is inconceivable. And there are innumerable universes. All of them aggregated together are known as material world. This Ananta Koti, Mandas, infinite material worlds together forms one material world. This is one third of the creation of the Supreme Lord. One third of this is material world, two thirds is the spiritual world. The rest two thirds are spiritual world. But what happens in this material world? Time and again, this material world gets destroyed and created, destroyed and created, destroyed and created. But the spiritual world will never get destroyed. It is Sanatan. It is always existing. So he creates and again finds up in the creation. This act is applicable only in the material world because the other later part of his creation, namely Vaikuntha, is neither created nor destroyed. This Vaikuntha world is never created nor destroyed. But foolish people think if the spiritual world is not created or destroyed, how can the creator who is spiritual can be created? People claim that God is created according to your own conception. It is only your conception that you say this is God, that is God. God is not created. God creates all of us. Narayana Paro Vyakya. Everything, everything else is created by him. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters of consideration. So, even the greatest of the scholars, who is the greatest of the scholars in this world? Brahmaji. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikaviya Muhyanti at Surya. The first sloka of the Bhagavatam. Even Brahma is bewildered, seeing the creation of the Krishna, greatness of Krishna. In Brahma Vimohan Lila we have seen. If the greatest scholar, greatest creator, Brahma is himself bewildered. What is the condition of the ordinary people like all of us? So we say that only Earth has a habitation. Rest we are searching for in Mars, Moon, etc. for places of habitants. But here, this adaptability of organisms of two different varieties of planets is described in Brahma Samhita. Vibhuti Chintavinam. Vibhuti Vinam. There are many planets, and in each and every planet there is particular life. Even there is an extract over here. Even the scientists say that there is life in the other planets as well. So we are all trying to see go to Moon, Mars, etc. How can we go to Moon, etc.? This is the sloka in 9th. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitruvata. Bhutani yanti devotejya yanti madhyajinopi mam. So one who worships the demigods take birth in the demigods. One who worships the ghosts and spirits will take among them. And those who worship me will live with me. If you want to go to Mars, you have to worship the Devata there. If you want to worship, you go to moon, go worship Chandradev. If you want to go to sun, go and worship Surya Dev. If you want to, if you go and worship the demigods, you'll go back to demigod planets. So this is what Prabhupada is explaining. So here Krishna is also sorry, Maharaj Parikshit is also asking. But regarding the workings of the creative energy of Lord, discloses that he knew the entire process of creation. Then why did he ask Sukadeva Goswami? Maharaj Parikshit, being an emperor, descendant, he knows. He was quite able to know considerably amount of creation. He said, therefore, that even the great learned scholars fail. So great scholars also fail to understand what is the creation of what is the Krishna, what is the greatness of Krishna. So that's why he wanted to go and ask his pure devotee, Sukadeva Goswami. So what? Had to inquire from the pure devotees the transcendental subject matters of the Krishna, then our misconceptions get reduced. The ninth sloka. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in various forms or expands. Here you can understand that Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is transcendental to three modes of material nature. Kindly clear up all these doubts, inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also great devotee of the Lord and therefore as good as a personality. So a great devotee of Lord is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is, if spiritual master should be treated as equal to God. Spiritual master is not God, but he is equal to God. So Prabhupada in his purport explains, he is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his devotees. Who can realize Krishna? Only his devotees. Bhagavad Gita 9.1 says, because Arjuna, you are my devotee, you are free from envy. I am disclosing this knowledge to you. Krishna is the source of all knowledge. He says, Sarvasya Charo Buddhi Channivishto, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohana. From him knowledge comes. Who can tap to that knowledge? Only a devotee. So, Maharaj Parikshit, to gain that knowledge, he went to a devotee, Sukadeva Goswami. Here various procedure is given. So, from Krishna, Baladev comes, Baladev to Sankarshana, from Sankarshana to Vasudeva, from Vasudeva to Aniruddha, Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to second Sankarshana, and from him come Narayana, Purusha Avatar, all the Purusha Avatars, which are compared to the incessant flow of waves. In Bhagavatam first canto we have seen. So many incarnations of Krishna are coming. It's like a waves coming and going in the ocean. So they are innumerable. They are like lamps of equal power, which kindle one lamp to the another. This is the potential. So one lamp creates another lamp. But he says, Vedesha Durlabham Adurlabham Atmabhakto. Even he remains always mystery for a mundane soul. He is always a mystery to mental speculation. You can go on speculating, maybe this, maybe that, maybe that. But Krishna has a right to not reveal himself. Krishna reveals only to his pure devotee. He is easily understandable by the pure devotee because the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54 that after surpassing the stage of knowledge, when one is able to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, then only one can know the true nature. So what is 8.54 says? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. That verse. So ultimately it says, Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So my devotee will get the highest benefit. So at the stage of the Brahman, no doubt we are free from this three modes. We are attained moksha. But what we have to do at that location? Bhakti. But bhakti parate lavam. Means from there at that location we have to do bhakti and we get more and more. So it is as good as saying that only his devotee can understand what he is. So one cannot have a clear conception of the Lord or his holy name unless one is engaged. So we should always engage in the transcendent service. Otherwise, we cannot know what is his quality, what is his name. Devonmukha he jivado. We have learned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So first starts our devotional service starts with the transcendental loving service. Is with the chanting. The chanting we do should be as a service to Krishna. Not that it feels very nice. I get a lot of peace. It's not an ordinary thing. It's as a service for Krishna. So then, if ordinary people forgets, then why did Maharaj Parikshit ask to Sukadeva Goswami? Because Sukadeva Goswami is not an ordinary material scholar. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. So what happens here in this paragraph? It is Prabhupada explains that the devotee of Lord Sri Krishna is higher than the Lord Sri Krishna. He empowers them. So just like Hanumanji jumped the ocean to find Sita, and Ramachandra has to cross on the bridge. And that's like another case. You can see the Lord is merciful upon his devotee. You can see here example of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Though Durvasa Muni was a Brahmana, he was not given a chance to save himself. He has given Maharaj Parikshit. Even Vishnu said, I don't have the power to stop the Sudarshana. Go and take shelter of my devotee, Ambarish Maharaj. So, by the mercy of their Lord, devotee gets more and more powerful even than the Lord himself. Once one person has approached Srila Prabhupada and asked, I want to become God, can you make me one? Prabhupada says, what to speak of God? I can make you much more higher than God. I can make you stronger than God. He showed the picture of Yashoda crying the Krishna. See this God. He is even guided by that Yashoda. I will make you that devotee. So devotee of the Lord Krishna are higher than even the God. So Maharaj Parikshit has went and inquired from him. The conclusion is that serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in the Vedic literature but also great devotee with a factual realization. Practice what you preach. Achareti iti acharya. Acharya means one who lives by his words. We can speak so many things, but if we are not practicing it ourselves, our speech doesn't transform the other person. So this is what he explained in the 10th shloka. The 11th shloka speaks about Sutta Goswami. When Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna. Immediately, what he did? Sukadeva Goswami did not start creation. This is how creation has happened. So he invoked the prayers of Krishna. He took the permission. This is the mode of Krishna, mode of a devotee. He knows that by his own material knowledge, he cannot reveal about Krishna. He needs the power of Krishna and the Sampradaya. That's why when we start a class, we sing, we have that entire sequence of prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya. But why are we doing all these things? We do not know. We cannot speak by our own knowledge. We have to take the permission, take the mercy from the Parampara and Sri Krishna. This is the mood of a devotee. So initial prayers, we have to do that. So we are just like an instrument. Our senses must be an instrument in the service of the Lord. We cannot claim that this knowledge is spoken by so and so. So this is what Sarvasya, because Sarvasya Chaham Hrudi Sannivishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha Vedeshi Sarve Ahameva Vedyo. So it is here. So only Krishna, from Krishna only the knowledge comes. We have to invoke, we have to depend upon Krishna. So we say, Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayati Girim Kripa Tamham Mandi Sri Guru Dinananda. So the power of Guru is he makes even the lame man cross the mountains. He makes a dumb man speak. That's why mood of devotee should always be dependent upon the mercy of his spiritual master. Sukadeva Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of the material world accepts the three modes of the nature. He is complete whole, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable." You say, Krishna is supremely inconceivable, and as even he is more above the three modes of material nature. How this Supreme Personality of Godhead is sitting inside our tiny heart as Paramatma? Such a great person is sitting inside our heart as Paramatma. Isn't it inconceivable? So, inconceivability is given here. The entire material world is a manifestation of three modes. Using these three modes, he enters as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. All these three are Purusha avatars of the same Krishna. He accepts the three modes and comes as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Vishnu enters the every body in the material created. Garbhadakshay Vishnu enters into every universe. Hirodakshay Vishnu, he enters into the as Paramatma. He is the origin of all the Vishnu Tattvas. So, what is the qualification? Bhakti Yoga is the only process by which one can become competent to know him. So, without being a Bhakta, we cannot understand this creation. So, I again offer my respectful obeisance unto the form of the complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator and the pious devotees from all the distress and destroyer of the further advances, the atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants them a specific destination. Here, Krishna, it is explained, Krishna deals with us according to our desires. Ye yatama prapadyate, accordingly he decides. If you are muktikami, he gives you liberation. If you are bhuktikami, he gives you all the enjoyments. So one should be a paramahansa. One should be the paramahansa stage of existence is the highest purpose stage of paramahansa means separation of milk and water. So what separation of mundane subjects from the Krishna topics. We have to separate. One should be a paramahansa. One should be situated in the paramahansa. So impersonalists cannot properly understand. There are two kinds of impersonalists over here. So Brahmanandi and Premanandi. So Brahmanandis are impersonalists and Premanandis are devotees. And both are awarded the desired destination. So Krishna reciprocates according to our desires. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam also reciprocates according to our own desires. Although Premanandis are more fortunate than Brahmanandis, but both the Brahmanandis and Premanandis are transcendentalists, they have nothing to do with the inferior material nature. So here Krishna deals with according to our own natures. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto him who is the associate of the members of the other dynasty and who is always as problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of the both material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode by his spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. So, is Krishna an order supplier? Is Krishna there only to supply all of our orders? No. He is a supreme enjoyer. Here, entire explanation describes that Krishna is unlimited and he appears as a human being. Though he appears as a human being, ordinary people thinks himself as a god. Even the Brahma is also confused about that. Here, there are two sides of transcendental manifestation. For pure devotees, in essence, for pure devotees, he is a constant companion. He is always accompanying the devotee. And the second, for the non-devotees, he is always a problem creator. For Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, or Ravana, he creates problems. He destroys all of them. So this is the entire essence of this purpose. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all. So, hearing anything from about Krishna, hearing everything related to Krishna devotees has a purifying effect. Gunoti. So, what happens when we hear the subject matters of Krishna? It enters through ear, sits in the heart, starts cleaning. The entire sins gets cleaned. This is what the process is Kirtanam, Smaranam, all the Navamita Bhaktis are explained over here. So it starts with Kirtanam. Shravanam, Kirtanam. Starts with Shravanam. So in the end, it is they said this mentality of committing willfully on the strength of devotional service is Namo Bala. Even on the strength of the holy names, one of the 10 offenses in the holy names. Even on the strength of the holy name, if we commit mistakes, it is Namapara. This is the greatest offense in the discharge of devotional service. Why we are not progressing in bhakti? Because we are committing offenses to the holy name. Hearing, therefore, is essential in order to keep one. So, regularly read Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of the all attachments to present and future existence, and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. Here, the glories of this faithful devotion. When we devoted to Krishna very faithfully, what happens? Without difficulty, progress towards spiritual existence. The transcendentalists who are impersonalists, they are following a path very difficult. Though they may ultimately reach, after many, many lifetimes, they reach Krishna, but their path is very difficult. 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita says this. Their path is very difficult. So when we faithfully serve Lord Sri Krishna, when we hear this Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure devotee, what happens? Devotion starts very, very easily. Our spiritual progress is very easy. So, yes, yes. Persons who are intelligent take serious note of this last instruction of the knowledge. Knowledge of the self is the first step on the spiritual realization, which is the confidential knowledge. And step is God realization, which is called more confidential knowledge. The culmination of knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita is God realization. This is how Bhagavad Gita proceeds. Starts with the confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, and most confident. Ultimately, it is God realization. So what happens? He naturally becomes a devotee of the Lord to render him service. Naturally. It's a natural process because soul is always servant of Krishna. Jivera Sarupai, Krishnera Nityadas. So when this confidential knowledge or the seva power is given, very easy for the soul to revive its consciousness. That's why Bhakti Yoga is Bhagavatam 10:14 says Bhakti Yoga is the highest quality of the perfection to be achieved by an intelligent person in lieu of performing a large quantity of spiritual activities. So we have to stay in bhakti. So it's like an entire second canto of Bhagavatam is like an SSR session, which Dasra Prabhuji has wonderfully explained yesterday. It's like an SSR session only. Here, let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned scholars, the great performers of charity, great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, great chanters of the Vedic things, great philosophers cannot achieve any fruitful results without dedication of such great qualities to the service. So whatever we do must be offered to Sri Krishna only. That is most dedicated everything to Krishna. Whether it be it your household activities, whether it is your seva, whatever office activity, whatever it may be. Are we doing it for my own enjoyment or Krishna's enjoyment? Sansiddhi Haritosha. So people say that I stole from a businessman to give it to the poor. I'm doing welfare. Even that theft, which is done as a welfare for other people, is also doesn't give you the fruitful results. It's not a good activity. So anything should be done only for the service of Krishna and his devotees. Then what use is of maintaining the whole body? What is the interest of maintaining the body and soul together? What is the What is the use of being alive? If you don't serve Sri Krishna, if you don't engage in our service of Krishna, the entire life is useless. So we have to maintain our entire life for the service of Lord Sri Krishna. Siddhir Haritoshna. So to become such God consciousness, to become God, one has to hear about the all auspicious Lord as he is described in the literature in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. In the 18th sloka, there is Kirata, Munna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulaksha, Avira, Subba, Yavana, members of Kasha race, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to his being supreme power. I beg to offer. So all these people are the low class society. So we have below this Varnashrama Dharma, those who eat meat or dog meat, etc. So in olden days, they say that only the Brahmanas has a qualification to approach God. If God is so powerful, can he not clean the impurities in the low class people? So he is like a sun. When his sun falls on urine, the urine gets evaporated, but sun doesn't get contaminated. So if the God is so powerful and he cannot cannot liberate the low class people, then what is the use of God? So it's a contradiction. So even the holy name has a power to make the Chandala into an Acharya. Acharya says this. So all these low caste people, whatever qualification we may be, how low we may be, how low birth we have, if we chant the holy names, if we associate with Krishna, we can get purified. So even those who this is even those who are constantly engaged in the sinful activities are to the standard of perfection human beings if they take shelter of the devotees of the Lord. So it's a very hope-giving statement. Though we are lowly born or Adama, we can take the shelter of a devotee of Krishna and perfect our life. So this is the entire purpose of the entire explanation. The conclusion is that Lord being all powerful can under any circumstance accept anyone from the worldly part of the world, either personally or through his wonderful spiritual master. He is very capable to deliver all of us. 19. He is a super soul, supreme lord of all self-realized souls. He is a personification of Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma, Shiva, and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may the Supreme Lord be pleased with me. Here, the important point is pretension. What is pretension means? Pretension means being pretending what we are not. So, as a devotee, what we should go and serve Krishna, we should love Krishna, but accepting Krishna as a master, and we go to him for a small, tiny benefit. Give me promotion, give me good education to my child. In spite of knowing that Krishna can deliver you from this material world. So we are pretending. So the pretension behavior should be avoided. So we are not going to God to love him, to get benefits out of him. This is pretentious behavior. So one who has this pretentious behavior cannot understand. So all the Lakshmis, Brahma, Shiva, all the Sampradaya people, all the Acharyas, they are above this pretension. They are not pretending. They are genuine. One should have a genuine loving relationship with the Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ata Eva Santa. Mukti Mukti Siddhikami Akali Ashanta. Muktikami, Muktikami, Siddhikami, all these people are Nitya Ashanta. They cannot become peaceful. Only Krishna Bhakta can. Because he has no other desire except for serving the Lord Sri Krishna. Hail Lord Sri Krishna, who is worshipable Lord of all the world, the protector of the and glory of all kings, Andaka, Vrishni, and the other dynasty, the husband of all goddess of fortune, the director of all sacrifices, and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, the supreme incarnation of the earth, the supreme all in all. Be merciful unto me. So here the important point is the fortune. So all the goddesses of fortune are serving Lord Sri Krishna. We are all trying to get the fortunes, good fortune. We are worshipping Lakshmi. So when Diwali comes, we worship Lakshmi. And in various places, we also worship Lakshmi according to our traditions to get good fortune. What is the good fortune doing? What is the goddess Lakshmi doing? Serving the Lord Narayana. Not one Lakshmi doing. Ananta Koti Lakshmis, Sahasra Lakshmis are doing the seva of Krishna. Naturally, Krishna is the proprietor of fortune. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwar. He is the enjoyer. He is the supreme enjoyer. So when we worship the Supreme Lord, naturally the goddess of fortune will be on our side. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanutara, Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti Dhruva Nitri Sri Vijaya is possible when the Krishna is with all of us. So when Krishna is there, we can see the signs of victory. So everyone is seeking that. That is the essence of this entire sloka. So one's full intelligence should be applied to get free from the material clutches. So here Krishna, when it comes, it is said that so when the Lord of the Universe, out of his causeless mercy upon the descents of his own energy to re-establish the eternal relation, he instructs all to surrender. So the conditioned soul is very proud of becoming the husband of even one wife, but the Lord laughs at it. If you want to make Krishna laugh, show us our plans. He will laugh very nicely. The intelligent man can know who is the real husband. Who is the real husband? Who is real pati? Only Krishna. So we are all Prakriti. Krishna is a Purusha. We are all Prakriti. If the personality of God is Sri Krishna who gives liberation by thinking of this lotus feet at every second, following the footsteps of authority, the devotees in trance can see the absolute truth. The learned materials mental speculation. However, think of him according to their views. May the Lord be pleased. So the mystic yogis have a strenuous effect by their own effort. Like example of Vishwamitra Muni, how he fall because of the Menaka. He was doing staunch, rigorous practices by his own strength. But Haridas Thakur was not deviated from the prostitute. So what is that? What we had to know? By thinking of the lotus feet of every second, by following his footsteps of authorities, the learned mental state, however thinking of him can according to their own ways. Krishna will make the Krishna will be pleased. So the Lord deserves the right of not being revealed. The Lord deserves the right of not being exposed to mental speculators. If people ask, show me God, show me God, he doesn't have any right, he doesn't have any obligations to show himself. Only he shows himself to the pure devotees. Our goal is Mahajana Yena Krata Sampada. We have to follow in the footsteps of the pure devotees. That is our humbleness. This humbleness puts the devotee of the Lord in a trance by which to realize everything, because the sincere devotee of the Lord reveals himself as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10. Lord reveals himself to the devotee. This is the way of knowing the Lord. 22. May the Lord, who is the beginning of the creation, amplified the potent knowledge of the Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with the full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated. So here we have to see the heart from appeared within the heart. Tene Brahma Hudaya Adi Kaviye. He appeared into the Brahma from the heart. So knowledge comes from heart to heart transfer. He said heart to heart transfer. When one is subordinate, his heart gets transferred to the other. So whenever we surrender to God, to his spiritual master, the Krishna inside his heart gets transferred into the Krishna, into our own heart. This is the way of propagation of Krishna consciousness. It's a heart to heart transfer. 23. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who is his Purusha incarnation, causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of the material modes, which are his generated. Be pleased to decorate my statements. Here we have to understand the decorating my statements. So we have to take the shelter of the Krishna, then only whatever we speak has its own effect. It invokes the pleasure of the personality of Godhead, may be successful and appreciated by the hearers. How can a hearer appreciate our words? When we invoke the blessings of Krishna and in the parampara. We all have to think that we are mere instruments. So this is the entire purpose. So we should be subordinate and speak in line with the with Krishna and other acharyas. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures, the pure devotees, think of the nectarian transcendental knowledge dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. So how does this knowledge is coming? It's like coming from the lotus mouth. The nectar is coming from mouth to mouth by way of disciplic succession. So one should therefore try to understand the Vedic scriptures or the nectar transferred by the Lord to his concern in the conjugal humor from the lotus-like mouth of Vyasadeva. So when we get the knowledge from the disciplic succession, the nectar which is given by Krishna reaches all of us. Otherwise, we'll get the poison. So we think that ordinary rasa dance is a sexual relationship. Now what happens? What is happening outside? People say that Krishna is playing with so many girls. I will also go and play with girls. So this knowledge is not from the sampradaya. How can we say that Sukadeva Goswami is liberated soul? He has no relation with the sexual relationship. Such a person is discussing about Rasalila, means there is something higher. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who accepted as sannyasa, he is a strict follower, who doesn't even hear Devadasi speaking. Strong sannyasi is speaking about the woman called Radharani. So these transcendental topics, when it comes from in the bona fide disciplic succession, we can understand it as it is without any duplicity mentality. So 25. My dear king, Brahma, the firstborn on this being, questioned by Narada, exactly apprised him on this subject as it is, had been directly spoken by Lord to his own son, who was impregnated with the Vedic knowledge. Here again the parampara is being explained. How? From Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, Vyasa to we see all the way to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Gorakishwar Das Papaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada, and our present Acharyas. His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, His Holiness Bhakti Chand. This is the way of disciplic succession. When we stay in this disciplic succession, we can understand the process of creation. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the second canto of the fourth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Process of Creation. Please forgive me. I have at the end almost I have went like a jet rocket in order to finish in time. There are so much to be spoken in the context, but because of the lack of time to concise all those things, I have to skip so many other factual statements. Please go back and read the purpose. There are so many other points we discussed. I have touched upon only the major important aspect which is helpful in our present context. Thank you so much, Sri Gopal Prabhuji and other devotees who have assembled over here. This forum is open for you for any question, etc.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandra Pranam. Prabhuji, wonderful class. Prabhuji, I have one question. You said this our material world is 1/3 only, and spiritual world is 2.3. So this all Brahmalok, Shivalok, Devalok, all comes under this one, or those are the separate, Prabhuji?
Material world means up to the stage of Brahmalok. From Patala to Brahmalok, 14 planetary system. In this our universe, there may be 28 other things in other material universe. All the Brahmalok is also in the material.
Okay, Prabhuji, Shivalok also, Shivalok and Devalok, all comes under this one?
Yes, but Shivalok, when we speak about Sadashiva's position is little bit different. Some
Yes,
portion
Prabhuji.
of the Sada Shiva Lok is in the spiritual world, some portion is in the material world. Is in between. Shiva Tattva is entirely different.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Samati. Any
Hare
other question? Hare Krishna Prasad. Teja Prabhuji.
Sorry?
Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavad.
Okay, go ahead, Prabhu. You go ahead, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, actually, the thing is it in somewhere in another lecture I heard that spiritual world is 3/4 and material world is 1/4. Is it the ratio is 1:3 or?
One is to the this one third is given in the on the lecture. Bhujana Prabhu. His Grace Bhujana Prabhuji was speaking in one of the lectures. This 1/3.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prasad Prabhuji, I think you wanted to ask some question.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Is this Kailasham, what I heard is part of the spiritual loka, Prabhu. So you are saying that Shivaloka or Kailasha is there in both material and spiritual. But what I heard is it's fully part of spiritual planet. It is like Vaikunta, Goloka, Kailasha, all part of spiritual planet only. Spiritual.
What I heard is it is part is in the upper Vaikunthas and part is in the I think bottom is in the only is in the spiritual material world.
Oh, okay.
Sada Shiva sits in the topmost of the Everest, the topmost of the mountain. It is in the Vaikuntha.
Okay, Prabhu. Got it, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, how many Vishnu lokas are there?
I didn't get you, Prabhu.
How many Vishnu lokas like Rama Loka, like Golok Vrindavan, which is topmost? Below that there are Vishnu lokas, no Rama Loka.
Yeah, there is an infinite number. For each and every incarnation, there is a loka. Rama is one loka, Narasimha there. So how many incarnations are there? There are infinite number of incarnations. There are infinite number of Vaikuntha planets.
They are all come under spiritual only, right?
Yes, spiritual one. Topmost of it is a Goloka.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Sri Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Sorry, I could not attend your class. I had gone out for book distribution. Sorry, Prabhuji. But I think the class was good. I did not hear it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the service. And I think it was, I hope, I mean, it was a wonderful class. Sorry, I could not attend.
No, Prabhu, you are doing a wonderful service, Prabhu, distribution. One way of spreading this same knowledge to all the people. Same duty you are doing.
So we'll close the class, Prabhuji. Any further questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Santosh
Hare
Aditya
Krishna, Praveen Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I was listening, even though I was occupied with receiving guests and all. Prabhuji, the one thing that I want to really commend you is the flow of your thoughts and how nicely you smoothly talk about the session and the topic. I was 1 year is with you with the class, Prabhuji. I was just taking my mobile everywhere I go, even though I was not focusing on one place. But Prabhuji, I can see that you are explaining so nicely. The smooth flow is there. I think it's very nice to hear you, Prabhuji, anytime. You prepare very well and give all the philosophy very nicely. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your session. Wonderful.
The entire flow is given by His Grace Gurujan. I followed his lecture. You can go to ISKCON Directory, you can see the narration overview.
Yes,
Overview lecture. You can see the Purijanas Prabhuji's lectures over there. From there, I had pick up the major points.
Excellent, Prabhuji. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a wonderful
Thank you,
session.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I think we can end the session.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Patitanam Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama
Ananta Koti
Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam, Sapan Prabhuji.